Peace. Welcome to my 9-month and 19-day check-in with no nicotine. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing why spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, what I've learned out of quitting nicotine, and a couple of tips of how I've learned how to maximize, your growth and your well-being in these states of being. So, starting off with spiritually, grow and expand by putting yourself on a spiritual path that enhances your ability to reach balance and spiritual fulfillment. There is no direct correlation between drug use and being spiritual. You are a spiritual being when you come aware. It's only that certain things can distance you from that path of your spiritual purpose. Be aware of how you use your spiritual power and how it affects your spiritual existence and path. Remember that you can maintain your peace and reality by having the spiritual perspective that no matter what you experience, you'll continue on your spiritual path. Use any resistance towards your path as momentum, motivation, and reasons for why you do what you do. That's something that I learned spiritually to do, is that whenever you're on the path and you ever are denying it, or feel like you're being held back, or you feel like you're not meeting the exact expectations, allow your expectations to dissolve and allow yourself to just experience and continue experiencing on that spiritual path, using that as motivation, using that resistance as reason and reinforcements of why you do what you do. Mental strength, mental ability to be present and non-dependent on externalities, to shut out your thoughts and use your mind as a tool through your travels and experiences, rather than involving your mental state of mind with toxic, agendized thought patterns. Create your own original intellectual property. Develop the mental state where your thoughts are a system and assist you in all other states of being and experiences. So I'm talking about the mental being able to support spiritual, emotional, and physical states of being.
Shopify gives you powerful analytics to run your business.
Even if you know what you want out of your reality, you can use your mentality to add depth to your ideas and your actions. And that was something as well that I wanted to touch on, because a lot of times when you're in the negative cycle of, let's say, using nicotine or using anything that really isn't doing good for you and it's actually holding you back, you don't realize that you can, once you gain that mental freedom from said substance, you can use your mind to really assist you and to be kind of your regulation throughout all states of being, knowing that your mind is in a positive state of being. After I go through these, I will touch on how this has to do with nicotine addiction and how this can tie in. I'll just tie some things in with that, with the spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional states of being, and then I'll close out this video. Thanks you guys for watching so far. Let's get into this physical. So embrace the vessel that you are in. Treat your body as a temple. Physically be aware of any actions that can prevent you from experiencing the reality that you want. Don't mistake making yourself feel good with substances with having a good time. Don't correlate, oh, you're just having a good time, you're having a good experiences just because of the substances you were taking. Look at it as you have control over the experience and you can get out of it what you want out of it once you involve yourself in that situation. So basically, you know that you don't need substances to have a good time. They were just part of this experience as a whole. So if you look at it at that perspective, you can enjoy life just as much doing activities that are not keeping you addicted and dependent and involved in non-growth actions. Surely there is a time for having experiences with certain substances, but along with the awareness of addiction and the knowledge and the extent of one's actions. Don't put the well-being of your physicality in the hands of a substance not supporting or helping you grow. When practicing detaching and or implementing moderation or editing of any physical state facet of oneself, know how to locate and respond accordingly. That's definitely big, because you will notice physically that when you try new things and when you get into new sort of cycles, that there's things that come with it. For example, just physical things that you may notice once you advance from a certain space, physically your body going through changes, and it's about knowing how to respond accordingly to these changes and know exactly what is going on. And it's just about being aware, having physical awareness as well. Be emotionally present for yourself and when interacting with others for genuine experience. Kind of common knowledge right there. Don't emotionally depend on substances to balance your mood or emotional state of being. Be aware of what your emotions can tell you about if you're doing the right actions or not. Follow your intuition by supporting the emotions that ensure what you know to be real, and the emotions that are strong enough to be stood on. This will also allow you to stay emotionally balanced down the road when you no longer have to second guess a feeling and or deal with an emotional blockage if it occurs, as well as not depending on substances. Don't depend on people to feel good. It's always a percentage, in that it's parts coming together to make something full or possibly to create something new. So that is the 4 states of being. Now going back to, you guys are still here. I have you guys' attention. Going back to spiritually, how does this have to do with nicotine? Well, if you're on a path and you feel as if you can't advance, or you aren't seeing the results necessarily that you want to see, and you're not seeing in the physical realm, exactly what you want to be manifesting, then you take a look mentally, and you're not necessarily mentally in a place where you want to be mentally. You're not being able to apply your state, the current mental state, to what you want to be doing it, or it's not being well perceived, or you're not mentally having the cohesion with your reality, or for sure if you're emotionally not where you want to be and you experience a kind of low vibration, or as you may know as negative, correlated to those negative side of experiences, then you can say that maybe this is something that has to do with this common continuous action of mine that is something that I've been continuously doing. For example, in this case scenario, nicotine addiction. Just to understand that moderation is definitely the best route. It is to be aware when you're addicted and to be aware of what you're reaping from your actions, right? Through all else, staying protected is really most important. So if that's what needs to be done, then that's what needs to be done to put you on to that spiritual path, or to certainly allow your spirit to get involved in things that are more meant for you and that are more guided towards your purpose. Mentally, well, how does this tie into be mentally present and non-dependent on externalities? Well, that just ensures you that you are mentally strong and that you may have the mental fortitude to apply yourself to any situation and any scenario that you will possibly find yourself in. And if you can't do that with certain things, then you need to step back and realize what's making me mentally unstable, right? Sometimes, you can't be as mentally stable as possible. Maybe you are a little bit, frantic or just unstable or kind of erratic. Allow that to work through you. Allow it to allow yourself to go through that fully and to embrace it, and then to come back to your mental stability at the end of that. So utilizing it for what it's needed for. Physically, about embracing the vessel that you're in and not putting your physical well-being at risk. Well, it's up to you if that's important to you. If you care about your physical body, then you will take the steps that are needed, and you won't overlook destroying your body just for just for the sake of enjoying the now, enjoying the moment now, and not understanding that over time you can live a better reality and you can create whatever physical reality that you want and manifest it that way. So it's about physically knowing what you're doing and what your actions, what effects your actions are causing. Emotionally, to be emotionally present and don't depend emotionally on drugs. Well, certainly it's all right, and there's a time for entertainment mode or time for relaxation mode where you need to, recoup, you need to take a break. You're not sleeping, but you're resting, and maybe you're just taking a second to have a load off. There's definitely times that emotionally you can just allow yourself to have that emotional maturity of, okay, I'm going to do this, and I know that I'm going to be able to express the way that I feel, and I'm going to be able to not be nervous, not be afraid of the way that I feel, and I'm going to be able to recollect these emotions rather than sweep them under the rug and realize, hey, maybe I don't like the way that makes me feel, or maybe, hey, I do like the way that makes me feel, and then you can go from there after learning through the experience and reflecting that off how you feel. Instead of just going with something that you've always known and that you've always done, try to challenge yourself in a way where you are able to grow, in all four states of being and all states of being that ever exist. Specifically in this video, the spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional states of being. And I haven't made a video in a minute, guys, but it's great to be back just because I love to push out, love to teach this knowledge, as well as spreading the awareness for you guys. Thank you for all the support. No matter what, everything is great when you're following that path, when you're staying in your power all the time. But yeah, that is going to be it for the 9-month and 19-day check-in. Peace.